Hi everyone, it's me, Darlene. I took a little walk to my mailbox and there was no check inside, but it's not due yet. They have a few more days and then they have 5 regular days after that, and I looked that up. And regular days mean a 24-hour period. Doesn't matter if it's a holiday or a weekend. They have just 5 days. So not 5 business days, 5 regular days. I just never heard anybody say regular days. And so they have time, but I thought maybe they'd like to send it to me a little bit early. And they didn't. And I won't be shocked if I don't get one. Nothing surprises me anymore. Nothing. I wouldn't be shocked. I wouldn't, in fact, I almost expect it not to come because nothing has gone my way at all. Nothing throughout this whole thing. If you're not familiar with what I'm talking about, I have a playlist link in the description of this video of this new part of this move that never ends. I used to have a playlist for the whole moving experience, but I took those down. I didn't have to, and I regret that I took them down now. I should have left them up the whole time. I bet you this would not have lasted 2.5 years, but they would have probably gotten something from a judge or whatever saying to take them down. I don't know. I should have left them up. I really should have. My gut told me leave those up because that's going to move this along. But now that they were down, they could just drag their feet about this whole thing, right, and make it like, you know, so that I would finally cave in. Now, I didn't cave in because I did not sign an agreement saying that I could never talk about any of this. I can absolutely talk about this. I just can't say their name. So that sucks. But I do find that it's helpful for me to be able to talk about this stuff. Gets me through, and, you know, I do want to still, you know, get back into showing you guys what you need to do before you move. Because it can be a nightmare. And what I hate the most, what I absolutely hate, is that movers can scare you into keeping your mouth shut about your story. We have the right to tell how it went, and I don't like the way this works. I think the moving company industry should have, there should be more regulations and stuff, whatever. So I didn't get the check early. I'm going to wait patiently, and when it arrives, I will let you know. And if it doesn't arrive, you can bet your sweet ass I'm going to let you know so quick. And I'm not giving them more than their regular days. You know, it's just, it's crazy. They should be able to pay me on time, and I think they will. So now I'm just going to play, it's like, I don't know, 5-6 minutes, a clip broken up because it was a 25-minute video, but I cut it down to just minutes, and you'll see bleeps, black screen that says bleep. That's because I had to cut out the names of the people, the players, the companies, and, you know, instead of redoing my videos, I'm just going to bring clips to you, and I'll cut the names and stuff out. And what this is I had gotten a call from a lawyer. This was, I guess the call was August 3, because I do believe I said yesterday when I was recording this. I recorded this on August 4, recorded and uploaded on August 4, 2022. And I had gotten a call from a lawyer, and then I had gotten an email 15 minutes after that from somebody else trying to, you know, go back and forth with me with what happened. And I didn't read the whole letter that I wrote him, the emails that I replied, but he had emailed, he wanted to know like what's going on, and they were making reasonable attempts to, I don't know, work with me or whatever. And he said that they were going to take legal action. But it took them about 6 weeks to do that. They probably thought I'd get scared and come, you know, begging for mercy, but I didn't. Anyway, so I'm going to let you watch this. I'm going to watch it at the same time that you're watching it, so I can come in and, you know, touch on a few things when we're done. Hi everyone, it's me, Darlene, and I have an update about the moving companies. Who's ready to go on a wild ride with me? Because I think it's going to be wild, and I think I'm up for it. Actually, I'm not all that convinced that any of the stuff I'm about to tell you is actually going to happen, but I'm going to pass it by you just the same. Yesterday, I walked in the house and my cell started ringing. I picked it up, and a man gave me his name, which I since have forgotten, and introduced himself as a lawyer for... Basically, I was like, what's this about? And he said, well, what do you want? You know, so I was like, well, I don't know, how to answer that, something like that. And I started saying the two companies know exactly what I want and what it is. To just refresh your memory, I want to get paid what I feel is what's coming to me without signing any gag orders. Simply refuse to sign that. I don't remember exactly what else we talked about right there, but I did explain to them how I'm still having trouble, how somebody is lying about what happened in my complaint. So I explained to them that they're telling them that I've been paid, which I haven't. All they have to do is call the insurance company. And I did send an email to the two players in the insurance company, letting them know, saying that I got paid by insurance. I just want them to know. Do you think any of them replied to me? No. And I didn't open my email until like later last night, but I can see by the times that my call came in at 3:34, and then an email was sent to me 3:49. So 15 minutes later from that call to that email. And I'm going to read this email to you. I don't know, how they would have juggled that. The email is from... I will read it. It's been brought to my attention that you've had an ongoing issue regarding your move with... From what I gather, we've made every reasonable attempt to resolve this issue, unless I am missing something. Well, he's missing a lot. I sent him a 4-page email. I'm embarrassed by that. Actually 4.5, because I wasn't done. After I sent the first one, I wanted to say something else. I'm talking about like printed. When I printed the email, it's 4.5 pages. Your interest is in shooting YouTube videos instead of resolving the issue. Now, my interest is absolutely resolving the issue. But and I pointed out to this guy that I did a couple videos at the beginning, and the last one was in January, and the next one was in July. I gave them all that time to try to make good on this, and they didn't. So there. Is a registered trademark, and since you're using our company name for monetary gain, slander, and libel, we are now taking legal action. And I haven't received anything other than that phone call. But let's go back to slander and libel. First of all, that's the first thing that if they sue me, they have to prove. They have to prove that I said something false. Not only false, but they have to prove the damages what I said caused, financial damages. I have not said anything false. The opposite is actually true. Has lied in the reply to me, to my complaint, by saying that I've refused offers, that I filed for arbitration and I was rejected. Those things aren't true. I never filed for arbitration. And then last but not least, they said I got paid by the insurance company. I didn't. So if they want to take me to court, they're going to be walking in there with dirty hands. I'm the one who has proof that they actually lied. I'm going to jump in because I keep saying gag order in there. That's before I knew that that's not the actual thing I'm supposed to be calling it. What they had offered me one moving company offered me a confidentiality agreement, in exchange for money, and I ended up refusing that. At first I considered it, and I thought, oh cool, at least I get something, but then I was like, no, I can't be bought to be quiet about this. It was just way too important to me, and it remains important to me, which is why I defended myself for 2.5 years without giving in to their demands of me never speaking of this again. And I am speaking of it, so I'm very happy about that. The other thing is, I wish that I would have talked about this lawsuit the whole time it was playing out. But of course my lawyer is going to advise me, take, the videos down that would show good faith efforts of, trying to resolve things, and then don't talk about this while it's going on. But I should have left those videos up, and I should have talked about it, because it would have just, I don't know, if they could legally shut me up, then at least they would have had to go through those steps to legally shut me up while it was going on. But I regret very much that I didn't just talk about it the whole time and be using their name, because at that point they would have not been able to stop me again unless they got some kind of a thing from a judge, shutting me up while that was going on. But I was trying to be on my best behavior because I thought I'd eventually be in front of a judge, but that didn't happen. And the other thing is that complaint that I made to an organization, the moving company absolutely said in their reply that I got paid by the insurance company. Now, if that were true, they could easily show that I got paid something from the insurance company or whatever, and I did not get paid. I was not even ever going to get paid from the insurance company, because they said after I worked 3 months about with them, and it was a nightmare even going through all that, they said that it didn't meet the deductible. It was going to be 600 and change, 650 something, I think. They said that I had to go back to the moving company that actually moved me to get my money. And I kept going after them saying, look, the insurance company tells me you have to pay me. They would not reply to me. I had to get back with the insurance company. They're not replying. So the insurance company gets to them and says, you got to pay her. They said they'd pay me, but I had to sign a confidentiality agreement, and I refused. And then when I talked about that, I believe, in depth in this video, the one that you're seeing clips of, I kept saying that I'm not signing that. The insurance company is telling me they have to pay me, and they want me to sign a confidentiality agreement, and I refused. And then this is August 4, and about a week later I did a video saying, look at what I got in the mail. The moving company sent me the check with no agreement to sign, because now they knew that I had spewed the truth out, that I never got that check. And if they're going to take me to court or file a lawsuit, they're going to have to show that they paid me something. And the check and the time stamp, the date stamp on the envelope was August 5. This came out August 4. So they watched that video and they were like, shit, we better fucking pay her. And I kept that money because I knew that, if I refused it, I was never going to win it another way. I kept that $650 whatever dollars. So anyway, now I changed the subject a little bit, because you're going to hear me talk about like what would happen if I went to trial. I don't think I said it in this clip, but I was like, I'll go, and it would have been not in my state. And so I would have had to travel, but I was like, okay, let's make a show out of this. And had that gotten to the point, I told my lawyer, if I am going to trial and I have to go to a different state to do so, I am going to be recording every minute of that, every minute of it, because, that would have been a huge expense for me. And I was not going to do all that without having the chance to at least be telling my story. This is what they're putting me through. And so I don't know if she relayed that news to the other side or whatever, but at the last minute, because we're talking the last minute, my trial was going to be this month. So they decided they'd make a deal with me where I benefit financially and not them. So, all right, I'm going to let you see this. I don't know, maybe you're interested in seeing me 2.5 years ago or whatever. And then I'll come back in to say bye. Can you imagine if I did that? Can you imagine how much publicity I would be able to give that company? You guys know how having a YouTube audience is what got me through this entire move. All the decluttering I had to do, all the worrying about how I was going to get my mother here, who ended up in hospice care, and we had to change all the ways, all the plans, instead of me hiring U-Pack or Derek and I driving a U-Haul. These were things considered. My mother was going in medical transport. And then at the last minute, all that fell apart because of hospice. And that's why I hooked up with, because I was told there was a cancellation on one of their trucks going in that direction. And I could have my stuff brought few days, 7 max. I got through that because I was able to tell my story here. I was able to get it out almost daily. You know, this is what I did today. This is what I accomplished. I felt proud if I, did one junk drawer. And you guys helped me to get through that because I was like, if I do this, I can report back and I'll feel good. Well, same goes with this supposed lawsuit. I think that it would be ridiculous for them to spend money on suing me when they haven't even paid me anything. It would be something if they paid and I had signed a gag order and then I was still talking. Now that would be a lawsuit. But they're acting like I'm being unreasonable when I was never made the offer they say I was made. The only offers I got was from, and it was $444 for a returned shuttle fee and $1,000 for my troubles. The gag order said I had to be quiet and I couldn't go after any other things, like I couldn't file for damages and stuff. And if you remember right, I was contemplating signing that gag order. I had even taken my video down for a little bit. And I told her I was very concerned about that because the $1,000 she was offering me was just for my troubles. And she changed that gag order. She changed it to say that I could still move forward with filing for damages. So the fact that she did that is proof that the $1,000 she was offering me was not for damages. And the $444 was clear that it was for a returned shuttle fee. I find this so interesting. Don't you think I would have made a good lawyer? Might have my chance. I think they would be dumb because what can they possibly say in front of a judge? Yeah, she had, states that she has some damages, and I have proof of damages, and she just wanted to get paid. She refused to sign a gag order. She's being very unreasonable. I don't know. And then the judge would say, well, so what have you paid her up to now? Nothing. We've paid her nothing. She got paid by the insurance. I know some of you might think it's ridiculous that I'm still living through this and, playing it out. And I need to, because it's helping me, not that I forgot any of this, but it's helping me to remember really why I stood up for myself for as long as I did, because it's just really important to me, and it breaks my heart that we can tell the truth about something and be somehow dragged through the mud for telling the truth when they were not honest with me from day one. They weren't honest. When my mother was deemed a hospice patient, that was right when we had all our plans set up. She was going by medical transport. I had already put the deposit down, everything. And Derek and I were going to, either rent a U-Haul and drive or rent a U-Pack. I think I had finally decided on a U-Pack that was going to be like a thing dropped off, and my neighbors and I were going to pack that. And then when Derek came, we were going to just take my car back, and the furniture would come. I mean, it was all set. And then my mother was hospice, and she was given about 2 days to live. And she, she lasted 4 months, 5 months. About 5 months. She was hospice in Maine for like almost a month, and then we took her on a plane. We flew out, and I got the mover. I called them and talked to a woman and thought she was very, very nice. I was crying. I was telling her how my situation was and how it was going to have to be last minute. And she's like, don't worry about it. We have a truck that has a cancellation. I was told there was a truck with a cancellation. And even though she was saying everything I wanted, I still wanted to, try a few more options. I was being so careful. And then I called her a couple days later and said, do you still have that space? See, it makes me want to cry now because I was so emotional. Can you imagine? I'd been planning a move for a year, and now I was planning a move with a mother who was dying. And, it was just, and it wasn't so much the death that scared me. It didn't scare me. I had my father when he died. And I was going to be okay. My mother was 98, and I was going to be at peace with her death. It's not like I wasn't expecting it. I'd been expecting it for years. It was just the getting her there. And I was told 4 to 7 days. I know that I think in that clip I had said a few days to 7, but I remember her saying 4 to 7 days, but then she said, and she did say, I have to say 21 because that's what it says in there. She goes, I have to say that. She says, but this truck is going in that direction. There's a cancellation. There's space for your stuff. You will be on the moving company's name truck. You will have a moving company's name truck, not somebody else that they were going to be selling me off to. And she just said all the things that she knew I needed to hear. And, I told her how important it was and that I was so grateful that they were going to be able to be there soon because she needed her lift chair. She needed, all her stuff. Of course, hospice was setting her up here, but we didn't expect to be in Derek's living room for a month, But it's just, I don't know. It's hard. It has been keeping me up nights ever since I moved. The move went wrong. And then this whole lawsuit was very stressful, to say the least. And I'm sad that I didn't get my trial. But I really do think I made the right choice by settling, and I worried about traveling with Joe and Rocket. I didn't want to go alone. I wanted them with me. But Joe's a diabetic. He gets hospitalized often. It's like, that was scary too. I just hope that the insurance company enjoys sending me checks, assuming that they actually do. I'm very, very happy that they are at least getting hit with some financial responsibility here. And, all right, I'm going to stop now, but you can tell that I still have a lot to process. And I'm supposed to get checks for 5 months, and I'm going to continue to talk about this until that last check is deposited in my bank. Thank you so much for watching. I'll be back with more soon. Bye.